Allah's face the east breeze. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah.
Allah. Father of the universe.
Father of the universe. Father of love.
Father of love.
Father of truth.
Father of truth.
Father of peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through
His holy prophet.
Through
Ali. Amen. Islam Wars.
Class is starting.
We'll go ahead and we'll read the laws. Go ahead and remain standing for the reading of the laws. Salvation, Allah, unity, the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh, and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to the slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Drew Ali the Prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father, God Allah. Noble Drew Ali, the founder, the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Moorish Science Temple of America, Home Office. Home Office of Noble Drew Ali, Chicago, Illinois. U.S.A. Islam, Moors.
Islam.
Islam, Moors.
Islam.
Islam, Moors.
Islam.
Islamism. The meeting is officially open. Okay. Islam. We proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I'm glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There's a host of jealousy about me and the movement, now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past, It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that pay their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present. So I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Juali. Islam?
Islam.
So the prophet in this reading stated to you, said there was a jealousy about the movement and a jealousy about him in the nation. All right? And that comes through his fame and his nobility. It's very important when we read this lesson and we read this letter and these things the prophet prepared for us. Because a lot of us have no understanding of what that truly means for us as leadership. Okay? First off, I'll rise and give perfect praise to Allah, Father of the universe. Rise and give honor to our holy and illustrious prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Rise and give honor to our American flag, the flag in which we were born under. I give honor to our Moorish flag, the flag of our forefathers. I give honor to all of you. So he stated there's a jealousy about him and a jealousy about the movement. All right. So what we're standing on today is Allah prepared this holy and divine prophet for us. He gave us a way to save ourselves and to save our nation. And that was handed down through the years, through the lineage. That was passed down through the angels, then to our prophet, our forefathers. All right, that same touch from that right hand that passed that down has passed that to you today. Very important. So you that are among us have that same touch that came straight down through the lineage over the years. That is with us today. So those of you that were with me then are with me now. So it's very important that we carry out the works that we were ordained to do by Allah. Islam?
Islam.
What did you say that was that, sister?
Page 10.
So now with that being said, we'll be in chapter 5 today in the Holy Quran of the MSTA. Chapter 5. After the feast, the homeward journey, the missing Jesus, the search for him. His parents find him in the temple. He goes with them to Nazareth, the symbolic meaning of the carpenter's tools. It says the feast of the Pasch was ended and the Nazarenes were journeying toward their homes. And they were in Samaria. And Mary said, "Where is my son?" No one had seen the boy. And Joseph sought among their kindred who were on their way to Galilee, but they had seen him not. Then Joseph, Mary, and son of Zebedee returned and sought through all Jerusalem, but could find him not. And Mary asked the guards, had they seen Jesus, a little boy about 12 years old? The guards replied, yes, he is in the temple now, disputing with the doctors of the law. And they went in and found, as the guards had said, and Mary said, why, Jesus, why do you treat your parents thus? Though we have sought 2 days for you, we feared that some great harm had overtaken you. So that's very important that Jesus said, the guards knew where Jesus was. Now, how did the guards know where Jesus was? Islam.
He had to walk out of some gate.
He had to walk out of something, so they knew he was in there. So when you hear the saying, he says, the guards knew he was in. Oh, he's in the temple. How did you know? You were the guard. You obviously were protecting that, right? Okay. So sometimes we miss little facts. Well, how did the guard know Jesus was in there? They were standing watch. Islam?
Islam.
The guards replied, yes, he is in the temple now, disputing with the doctors of the law. So they knew what was going on inside the temple as well. Okay? So Jesus, 12 years old, is inside. The guards know he's in there, and he's disputing with the doctors of the law. So when we say doctors, we know what tools the doctors use. The doctors use a scalpel, all right? They cut away parts that are useless and things. But they use it in a manner that only a doctor can use a scalpel. When they cut something or when they do, they don't just go in there like you do with a hacksaw or something. You know, they've been trained, they've gone through certain things of how they're going to function. It says, and they went in and found him as the guards had said. So now that reaffirms they went in to where they knew Jesus was. They were standing guard. He was disputing with the doctors of the law inside the building. They knew he was in there. And so now they reaffirm that as it was said, he was in there. And Mary said, Jesus, why do you treat your parents thus? Lo, we have sought 2 days for you. We heard that some great harm had overtaken you. And Jesus said, do you not know that I must be about my Father's work? So, but he went round and pressed the hand of every doctor of the law and said, I trust that we meet again. And then he went forth with his parents on their way to Nazareth. And when they reached their home, he wrought with Joseph as a carpenter. One day he was bringing forth the tools for work. And he said, these tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where things are made of thought and where we build up character. Okay? So what are we building? Islam, anybody know what we're building? Islam. We're building a government, definitely. That's one thing we're building. Islam, we're building people. Anybody else have any understanding or measure on that?
Building self.
We're building self. So actually, we're building perfected man. Okay? So these tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where things are made of thought. Okay? So what are things made of? He gave you an answer in that. Things are made of thought. So man was the will of Allah. Man was a thought of Allah. And then willed into existence, right? But he came forth as a thought. So man himself has his own thoughts. So we have to keep those thoughts in balance at times, right? I'm trying to be perfected man and climb up to a deific state. We have to keep those bounds within the bounds of righteousness, because all thoughts would not be pure. All right? So in previous lessons, we remember the chapter where Jesus went into the wilderness. And he went in the wilderness to deal with a struggle, to struggle with himself. All right? So to put a modern day flair on that, it's a hard concept for people to grasp. Because what does the struggle of self look like? So in the 2017 language, so Jesus was walking by and he says, guy, I got a problem. Okay, who you got a problem with? This guy. Okay, where's he at? Point him out. We got a problem with this guy. I got to handle this. Okay, Jesus, where's he at? Well, it's actually me. Think about how that's going to go over when you explain to somebody that the problem that you're having is with you. Islam.
Could it be the lower self?
It's the lower self. Islam. Man has two selves, the higher self and the lower self. He's struggling with the lower self to make the lower self go down. All right. So Jesus was having that struggle with himself. So, but how can you explain that to someone? That's a word that you can't explain in words, right? And if you explain it to the wrong person, they're going to tell you you're crazy. So he said, we use the square to measure all of our lines, to straighten out the crooked places of the way, and make the corners of our conduct square. Okay? So we've seen that emblem, we've seen that thing around, we see the square, we see the compass, all right? So the square is to measure our lines and straighten out the crooked places in our way. So that's the reason why we wear the fez. It's the reason why we come and be amongst each other, to square out the crooked points in our life. So that way when you get out of line or you're going off this way, we can gently bring you back. The world isn't going to bring you back gently. All right? So you see on the top of our divine constitution and bylaws, we have unity. We have the hand outstretched, and it's open for all those to come and shake. But there's other things we do with the hand. So when the hand is balled up, it's a fist. It's clearly not an inviting or invitation for you to come in. All right? We use the compass to draw the circle around our passions and desires to keep them in the bounds of righteousness. Okay? Use a circle. Let's work on it. So we have a circle. And usually when you use a compass, it has a sharp point on the one end, right? The point's in the middle, and it draws a clean circle all the way around. All right? So this is where we want our character inside of here. Our character should be inside of the bounds of righteousness. All right? It needs to be inside. So sometimes we're off way over here, over there, over there, over there, over there. That lower self isn't supposed to rule your life. That compass is supposed to put you in the bounds of righteousness. When I hear this lesson, I love this lesson. I'm going to tell you why. When I grew up in school, we used to play marbles. Anybody remember marbles? You heard about marbles? Okay. So what they did was we put the marbles in the center of the circle. Then we're all out here on the outside of the circle, right? Like this. We roll the marbles through the circle. Any marbles you knock outside of this circle become yours and you keep. All right? So we as children, we were thinkers. So what happened was when we take these marbles, we get a running start way back and whip them through the circle, knock a whole bunch out and say, that's all mine. They said, okay, no problem, we'll fix that. So the children on the playground, we made another circle around this circle, like this. All right? The reason we made another circle around it that said, when you roll your marble and hit these object marbles, this other marble that you roll better not go too far outside this circle or you're cheating. Okay? So I start all the way back here from the room, roll them all the way through, knock everything out, and then I still get to keep my marble, then I take yours, and I go off over there. That's not how that works. You can't get a running start from outside of this other circle that they created. We made a secondary circle. Well, that's the point. You can't be out too far outside the circle. That's why they call them your circle of friends, the circle of life. So that all gives you an understanding that a circle is, there's no beginning and no end. That's why you wear the wedding ring on this specific finger. Why? Because there's a link between this finger actually to the heart. They ain't going to tell you that, but I'm going to get it. That's the reason why you wear it on the finger. And they said a wedding ring is the perfect bind. It's not to have any breaks in it. There's no break in the ring. It's a perfect circle. All right? But that's supposed to symbolize your love. Islam? Islam. So it says, we use the compass to draw the circles around our passions and desires to keep them in the bounds of righteousness. And we just talked about that. It says, we use the axe to cut away the naughty, the useless, ungainly parts and make the character symmetrical. Islam? So what does that mean to make the character symmetrical? Somebody help me with that.
The character should be the same. Should be the same on both sides. You need to have balance.
Islam. So character needs to have balance. Okay? So this is the struggle that we have within the world. It's the reason why the home is a two-family home. There's got to be a mother and a father. All right? We had the father God Allah, and we had the mother of the virtues. So this is why we really want to have a mother and a father. Why? I could be raised in the house with two dads like my dad. My dad always wanted to put the smack down. You know what I think? Oh, here we go. Let's handle it. Uh-oh, let's say it's going to be good. All right? But we had to have somebody to bring that into balance. So that's why we had to have that. Okay, the positive energy and the other energy. That energy has to stay in balance. We're not going to keep those things in balance. We won't stay inside of the bounds of righteousness. If we're always upset, if we're always angry, that means we're not working on lower self. We're just letting it run amok. Right?
Islam.
So we use the axe to cut away the knotty, useless, ungainly parts that make the character symmetrical. We use the hammer to drive home the truth and pound it in until it's part of every part. What's the part of the hammer? They say the hammer is the most dangerous tool in the workshop. It's more dangerous than a saw. They say it's more dangerous than a power saw, a drill, anything. Why? Because more people injure their thumbs than that hammer. More finger damage, more issues happen with that hammer. Why? Because sometimes we don't look around when we're swinging. So we just start swinging. We're swinging the hammer. But let's make sure that when we're swinging the hammer of truth, that it is truly the truth. So in that case, we may just be doing destruction. Yeah? We got a couple of different options that we have with a hammer. A hammer can be used to pull a nail out that we hammered in incorrectly. It can be used to bust a window, which we may or may not want to be doing at that time. Or we can use it to drive home that nail of truth. But let's make sure that we use it for the purpose that it was intended for. I said every tool has its intended purpose. Same as with your mind. That's why we're dealing with the workshop with a mind. Islam. So we want to make sure you use your mind for what it's intended for. We see all kinds of creations in the world may not be what the Most High created that for. Right? We use the plane to smooth out the rough, uneven surface of the joint and block and board that go to build the temple for the truth. Somebody get that? We use the plane to smooth out the rough, uneven surface. So you see them in the construction site. What's the first thing they do? Let's say they're going to develop this land right here. What's the first thing they do? Islam. They flatten it. They get the bulldozer. They knock down all the trees. They give it something smooth to build on. Do they build on sand? No, they don't build on sand. All right? So that's the reason why when you go to all these housing developments or these things, or the University of Toledo, why you think this water's here? They dug that out to smooth out the rest of this area. They don't put that there. I mean, they use it to make it beautiful, but they dig that hole because they need the dirt to flatten that out to be able to build on. And why pay for something when you already got it right there? They dig a big hole, put some water in there, throw some fish in there, call it a pond. Right? So that's what we use that for. We use the chisel, the line, the plumbing, and the saw all have their uses in the workshop of the mind as well. So we use a chisel. Chisel, you see it on with rocks and things. Break off little pieces that are a little off. Okay? We use the line. This is a line in the floor. All right? Say don't go too far left, don't go too far right. Why? Because those are extremes. They call those people extremists. Right? Take an ideology, a man's ideal is this God, and go too far with it. You're supposed to stay right here on the straight and narrow. Walk the line. Taught you that in school. Everybody line up. We're about to go outside. Recess. It's time to go out to recess. If you don't line up, the teacher will real quick say, hey, you ain't going out till you get on the line. Whoop. Everybody knows what that line is for. Now we go out single file, line, in an orderly fashion to the playground. Or a fire. What happens in a fire? Everybody's running all this way. Teacher said, ah! Everybody on the line. Boom, they get on the line. Send them out. Same thing, play sports, basketball. Get on the line. Run what they call suicide. Run them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We get in shape. Boom, then we're done. Then you go home. Now you've been trained. Very important. So they all have their place in the workshop of the mind. So we're working on the mind. Where else is the work going on at? Is there anywhere else the work goes on at? We're working on our thought pattern. We're working on that thing that really is. All right? Trying to get the mind to focus on what we need to be. Anybody got any questions on that?
I don't have a question. I have some comments. Because I think about this, and I think about my own meditative practices that were nowhere near where they are now, but it's something that we talk about guided imagery. Take, for example, with somebody who's pregnant, they're about to have a baby. And we talk about how you can reduce the use of specific medications and how the mind can actually focus in a way so that you can get rid of the feelings of pain. So that pain can actually be physical pain. It can be psychological pain because your focus is no longer on that pain. And that's what this makes me think about, because in all actuality, if you're focusing on that breath or on those things, you are using the axe, you are using the hammer, you are using the line, because you're guiding that focus towards what the actual goal is.
Islam.
That's what our tools are for. So we're working on a pretty big project that we have. That project is this: yourself. Most important project that you've been given. We read in many lessons it says, don't desecrate the temple. What are they talking about? He's talking about this. This is the master creation, created by the master creator. Right? This is your public utility to man. What? This vessel that he gave you to go and take care of things with that are positive. And we live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. If you're doing anything other than that, Allah will give you your reward for your unjust deeds. Plainly explained. But if you notice, when you do everything right, in accordance with the tools that you were given, doesn't it always seem you get more tools? You get more assistance? Why does that work that way? You get more assistance when you're doing things from a benevolent point of view. It's designed that way. All right? You call it karma, karmic debt. It says, and then is the ladder with its trinity of steps: faith, hope, and love. Trinity of steps. So there's 3 steps. You know, there's stuff in between. It tells you there's a 12-step ladder. Right here it tells you there's a 3-step ladder. It says faith, hope, and love. And if we climb up to the dome of purity in life. And on the 12-step ladder, we ascend until we reach the pinnacle of that which life is spent to build. The temple of perfected man. So we need faith, hope, and love. Our prophet told us, learn to love instead of hate. So he put a huge priority on that. That is actually we uplift fallen humanity, but we must first learn to love. Our prophet took us to the beginning and said, you deal with the love first. Why? All the rest will come. Be added unto you. But we need to deal with the love first. Why? Because we don't know what that is. We don't know what it looks like. You hear the song, I want to know what love is. They're begging for it. They need to know what love is. They don't know what it looks like, or what it feels like, or how do you attain that? I can promise you, you're not going to become a perfected man if you don't know what love is. And then work and practice that. It says, and on it, we climb up the dome of purity in life. So what's purity in life? You're at that highest form. Clean and pure. You've been in the light, you've seen the light, now you have become the light. I got any question on that? I might ask a question on that. I see eyes glazed over. But he got a question on that. It's about information. It's good information. So we need to use that to work through that to see how we're going to grow. And that's going to start with working on you. Because nobody else is going to need to work on but you. Right?
Islam.
Islam. I'm going to jump to, and this runs in with this. So I'm going to jump over to page 36. What is that? 26, chapter 26, the Holy Instructions of Unity, because that kind of runs with this. And the reason that runs with that is when we think about unity, we talk about unity in the community. We talk about unifying this. We talk about unifying that. Unify yourself first. Correct those things which are wrong. Then you are of a benefit and beneficial to your community. All right? The prophet said, put him out front. I will draw all men unto me. Why? Because he had the love. This message that he brings, there's no hate in this message. He brought him love. He said, you got to live according to love, truth, peace, and freedom. And if not, then justice will then take its course. And that's going to come in whatever manner that may come into you. That's our prophet. He said, imitate the prophet in your words, actions, and your deeds. And it's hard. It's very hard. Start a little bit, then a little bit more. That if you can't make it to that level, he even gave you a provision to mess up. He said, do that in the privacy of your own room. And overcome those demons. Then come out. All right? He said, don't give anybody in the public a reason to doubt you or doubt me, the prophet. He was a prophet. We can't play with that. That man came up from amongst us, speaking the language, to save the nation. He said, I brought you everything you need to save the nation, not take it and save yourself. He said, take it. Take it. See, he didn't hold nothing back. He didn't hide these books away. You don't have to do something, this secret, whatever, to get these lessons. He said, take it and save yourself. All right? Then when you save yourself, now you have an obligation to help your fellow man when you find out how far you've come and how far you've grown. Right?
Wow.
I've been with some of you from the beginning, and I've seen the growth. But some of you don't think you've grown that far. You have. You've grown. You're better. Your character's better. You treat your family better. You think people don't call me about you guys? I talk to most of you on the regular. You've grown. Accept that. All right? We get out there with our friends and they say, oh my gosh, you're changing. I remember when we used to do this and that. You're looking at me some kind of way. No, I'm not. You looking at yourself some kind of way. You looking at yourself some kind of way. I'm still me. All right? I got to get some growth. Why? Because I don't want my son doing certain things. I don't want my older son doing certain things. I don't want my nieces and nephews doing certain things. All right? So we was uplifted fallen humanity, which is the woman. So when we uplift that woman from the front of the cover of our questionnaire 101s, she's teaching them correctly while they're in the womb. Same reason why you wear this fez or you wear that turban. Symbolize when you got knowledge, when you were in the womb. Holy Instructions of Unity says the gifts of the understanding are the treasures of Allah. It said gifts of the understanding. So there's different sections. And he appointed to everyone his portion, in what measure seemeth good unto himself. So you can't be jealous of what somebody else has. That's what he said. You got the portion that you needed to do the job that you needed to do at the time that you needed to do. in this place where you at right now. You didn't get anything else. Okay. You know, I wish I had the understanding and the ability and the knowledge that Christian has now at that age. I wasn't given that. It wasn't my time. Right? But these youngsters coming up, they're going to be ready to go. Why? Because they see it for real, for what it is. What holds our youngsters back is us, not them. It says, hath he endowed thee with wisdom? And these are questions. Hath he enlightened thy mind with the knowledge of truth? That's important. Hath he enlightened thy mind with the knowledge of the truth? He didn't say you had the truth. He said you had the knowledge that the truth exists. All right? That's huge. That's huge. So you have growth just by knowing that there really is a truth. How many people do you talk to that say, I've been looking for myself for years? And we say, and then as I grew older, I knew what they meant. They're searching for truth. They're searching for a reason. They're searching for why. We have issues. They look out there and they say the calamities of the world. Oh, I can't function in this. The people crazy. They're killing themselves. They all gonna die. We gonna die. We gonna burn. The world will be not. The Most High didn't create that to have that.
Wow.
Chaos always. So we have a place. We have a gift. We have treasures. We have understanding. See, we're not supposed to worry about the calamities of the world like that. Those things at some portion will pass. Islam.
Powerful words you just said. More powerful words are rarely spoken. In today's society, and this is to benefit me, anybody else in this room, or anybody else who might be seeing this, what are some recommendations about how, since it comes at you fast all the time, and people get caught up in that chaos, that we can do to not get caught up in that chaos?
So one of the things that man has that was above all other animals, he said that we was endowed with reason. So we have reason. So if I look at it and I know it's ridiculous, don't spend too much time with that stuff that's ridiculous. Islam. So that's one of those things. We know that that's ridiculous. But how often do we still mess with it and say, well, I know he's about to do this, but I'm about to go over here and deal with this. Well, why? Give them a little information to go away. We need to pray. We need to meditate consistently. All right? Prayer is what we ask of God. Meditation is what's sent back down to us. That's how we got to deal with the world. If you look at it and you say, oh, it's about to be bad, I'm going to go ask, see, just in case. And you go over there, oh, it was bad. Why? Why would you do such a thing? Man was endowed with reason. At some point, you just making it up, and you just going to do it anyway. How many times we get people say, I'm going to do this anyway? You call the person that you need, that you can count on, that's going to give you what you need when you want it. Why would you call somebody that's going, you know this person creates chaos, and you say, you know what, I want to go deal with him. I'm going to go ask. No, he's reasonable. Hey, we're about to go over here and handle this. Oh, yeah. We should have been done that. Let's go. Because you asked him to get the answer that you wanted to get. We can't live life like that. We can't live like that. All right? We create chaos ourselves. So that's how we have to deal with the chaos in the world. You know it's coming. Those are all mind games. Watch all this stuff. People sit there. They told you if you watched it, if you see a commercial or something, 30 times in 30 days, it's in there forever. Most of the time you see them now 30 times in 10 days. Guess what the odds of that are? Now you remember that, right? Now you know it. It's in there. Now you can't get those images and those things out. But you say you're not reacting upon that. I ain't reacting upon that. It ain't had nothing. It ain't had no effect on me. Yeah, it's had an effect on you. Turn that stuff off. Right? We got TVs. We got cell phones. We got laptops. We got Snapchat. We got WhatsApp. We got all these things. We got Line. Another one will probably come tomorrow. We got Facebook and all these things with negativity out there. And you watching all that, taking it in, and letting your children watch that and take that in. Wonder why they messed up. Scared. Won't leave their room. I ain't riding my bike. Why? That's the dude crashed his bike on Facebook. Want to see the video? Don't matter. You guys laugh at that. I mean, adults that have never been on a 10-speed bike before. Told them their parents told them they would crash and hurt themselves. Never been on a bike. How you gonna ever get any growth if you don't try nothing? Not one thing. True wisdom is less presuming than folly. The wise man doubteth often and changeth his mind. The fool is obstinate and doubteth not. He knoweth all things, but his own ignorance.
Wow.
All right? Foolish people are obstinate. I've done it this way. I'm going to do it that way. My daddy did it this way. My granddaddy did it that way. Okay, but did you get any growth? Doing the same thing over and over, getting the same result is called what? Insanity. All right? That's insanity. That's the definition of it. So at some point, you was given reasoning. He said that was, we were above everything else because man was given reasoning. That's in one of the other chapters. You were given reasoning to look at it and say, yeah, that's not going to work. How are we in 2017 still making a square wheel? That's been done. Do something else. It's not going to get you anything. It says, the fool is obstinate and doubteth not. He knoweth all things but his own ignorance. The wise man is supposed to know what he doesn't know. I'm not an electrician. I can call my buddy Chris and say, well, you've been doing this 30 years. Fix this for me. Why? Why I got a business being electrocuted? Why even go through that neighborhood? I could save some money if I just put this wire to this wire and YouTube it and, oh, did it go well? What? I burnt out the fuse panel. What's that? Now I need more money to fix the mistake. You know, in business, most places won't come work on something that you've already worked on. There's a fee on top of that. So if you've taken something apart and the guy come in and say, what happened? Oh, you already took that apart? Yeah, that's 300 on that to put that and then put that in. And then they just gonna go get a whole new one and put it there anyway. Because they're not gonna mess with that when you mess with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Because of the liability of things.
The mind is blind, the eyes is useless.
Yes, ma'am. The pride of emptiness is an abomination. You shouldn't be proud of having nothing. Nothing up here. No understanding. It's an abomination. And to talk much is foolishness of folly. Nevertheless, it is the part of wisdom to hear with patience and their impertinence and to pity their absurdity. How often do we catch ourselves saying, oh, that's just the dumbest thing I ever heard? And you say that to somebody. And we tear them to their lowest low, and then we stomp on them, and then we laugh at them, and then we do those things.
It speaks about tongues.
Islam, we have a lesson about tongue. We can't tear somebody to their lowest low and think that that's love. And then after we get them and we knock them down and threw some dirt on them and laughed at them, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. We patted them and then said, now I'm going to pick you up. And they look at you like, no, I don't want to take your hand. Okay? We can't do that. We got reasoning. So every time you knock somebody down, that actually takes a level away from you when you at the pinnacle. That knocks you down a few steps. When you tear, that's supposed to tear at your heartstrings, this heart, and your mind. Your mind is supposed to say, you know what, that was incorrect in my dealings of how I did that. We're supposed to be upright, fearless, moral and spiritual in character. So if my character gets so high that I'll take and tear part of you, how does that look? What does that do for us? It doesn't do anything for us. It says, and to pity their absurdity, right? Pity their absurdity. So we have to say, you know what? I see, you know, in your mind, and really you can't really change somebody's mind because that's for them to change. They got to build perfected man. I can't build his perfected man. I can't build her perfected man. I can't build his perfected man. You have to build your perfected man. And he has to build his perfected man. It said, but teach these lessons to the ignorant, and then teach these to yourself for thine own improvement. So when I'm teaching somebody to be better, it's supposed to teach me to be better. If I see somebody's homeless or struggling, I'm supposed to look at them and say, you know what, I'm doing okay. Man, I feel bad that they're not making a way. And if I get a second, I can help them a little bit. I'm not supposed to laugh at them and you know, do those things. We see people picking on the homeless people out there and all these things. Mental illness is at an all-time high. Why? The TVs, that Facebook, that Snapchat, that WhatsApp, that medication, that alcohol, those drugs. That's why mental illness is at an all-time high, because they're trying to stay out of a state of that. That's why they call it getting high. They're trying to stay off of this earth level. They want to be up here. But if you're not meditating and praying, you can't stay up here. Because that alcohol and that stuff will only keep you up there so long. Then they call it an overdose, and then you fall out, and then you're done. Overdose on what? What is the correct dosage? None. Ain't no dosage on that stuff. All right? Yet be not puffed up in thine own conceit, neither boast of superior understanding. The clearest human knowledge is but blindness and folly. So the clearest human knowledge is blindness and folly. That means you go and try something. If it works, it's cool. If it doesn't, don't tell anybody. Blindness and folly. See all these creations and things that make the world better. Somebody was at home and tried some. They didn't go to their room and say, oh, look at that. They've been doing it for years. It didn't just come out all at once. The laptop, that's not the first generation laptop. Somebody made one, they made another one, then they made another one, the computer. Some of y'all don't remember back to the VIC-20 or Commodore 64. Those was the first computers. They had a big square thing they put in, what was a floppy disk or something they put in there. Now they got a stick you put in the computer. Burn a CD on one, burn a DVD on one. Talk to somebody in another country. That came from the thought of somebody's mind. And they got growth, and they moved it. And it was so, and they were so benevolent that they shared it with us. Sure, there was some finance involved in that too. There was some finance involved in that. That was designed to make your life a little bit easier. Said the wise man feeleth his imperfections and is humble. Okay? When you can say, this is where I fell at. This is where I failed you at. Those types of things, those are the things where you get your growth at. Okay? There's a couple of meditation lessons I used to deal with. In the hardest chapter, they had you do a self-examination in the mirror and talk to yourself and explain to yourself your shortcomings. And most people say, oh, I skipped that chapter. And they'll tell you, I skipped that chapter. Why? That's a tough chapter. Do you do this? Do you do that? Have you done this in the past? Wait, skip that. That mirror examination. Why, that's tough. That's tough. That's the only way you're going to get some growth. Accept your faults. Now you can fix them. But if you say you don't have any faults, you can't even get to step one. Didn't they say the first step one is admitting that you have a problem? I don't have a problem. You got a problem. Why? You keep asking me about my problem. If you would leave me alone, ask me about my problem, I wouldn't have to acknowledge I have a problem. See where the problem lies?
It's not, then I have to do something about it.
Right. You obligated to do something about it when you know you're wrong. You look outside and something's bad, something's terrible, then that means I gotta go fix it. All right. A teacher told me in school, I was in 7th grade, Northwest Ohio history with Mr. Krebs. And he said, not to decide is to decide. I said, huh? Not to decide is to decide. One of y'all generations is gonna deal with it. And he said, whew, I'm glad I got that off my chest. Now what y'all gonna do? And they're like, wow. You know how deep that is? Not to decide is to decide. You're gonna deal with it now, you're gonna deal with it later. You got a leaky roof, You put a bucket under there for a little while. Okay, that's gonna get you by. And you got 4 buckets. Now you got 9 buckets. Now your house is one big bucket. Right? Then when the roof comes down, TV gets ruined, carpet got to go. You can't breathe that mold. Can't breathe the mildew. Now you got a problem. Full-blown problem. This can't be how our lives are. It can't be. So we got to take care of those things. It says, the wise man feels his imperfections and is humbled. He laboreth in vain for his own approbation. But the fool peepeth in the shadow stream of his own mind and is pleased with the pebbles. So in the stream of his mind, a little pebble hits and he said, did you see that? Did you see that big splash? You see what's going on? Yeah, you didn't know about this. I'm in control of things. And why do we meet these people that don't have much in their mind? They always got some big ideas. I'm gonna make $47 million in 2 minutes. Watch. That's not likely. You're not gonna put some effort forward. You're not gonna put some toil into it. But the stream in their mind said that pebble is doing something big. He says, and the shadow stream of his own mind, and he's pleased with the pebbles which he seeth at the bottom. He bringeth them up and showeth them as pearls. And with the applause of his brethren, delighteth in himself. Who are his brethren? Who is this person's brother? Anybody know who this person's brethren is? Did you catch that? People just like him. People just like him. So there's a group of people that's all messed up, and they got one dude that's messed up, that's the leader of these messed up people, and he said, did you see that? Did you see that? He said, oh, that's fabulous. Show me that pebble again. Wow, that's great. And they go get another group, they get a few more people coming into this group of ridiculousness, and they excited, and they call some other people about ridiculousness, and they jump in. You see it all the time on Facebook. Islam.
The word in here that actually caught me up was approbation. The reason is because it was a word that I didn't know. So looking it up, basically the wise man feels his imperfections and he's humble. And he laboreth in vain for his own approval. But the fool is happy with his own self-approval, right, is what that says.
Right. Islam. So you see, so the fool's commercial looks like, and that stupidity brought to you by and approved by me. That's what his commercial looks like. I approve this message.
Yeah, I endorse it.
I endorse it. I do this all the time. And the other guys that run with him say, he's the real deal. That's that guy. He's real with it. Okay, but he's real with stupidity.
Islam, the one of the adjectives for that word is childlike.
Childlike.
Wow.
Childlike.
Well, you just went into the etymology of the word.
Childlike. So now you run around childlike. Mm-hmm. So now this grown person, this is what we're talking about, grown adults, grown people with children minds, trying to help you to do something. So they done went and got the whole crew of people that are totally lost. And guess where their journey is going to take you? Into a lost area. But the problem is if you know you're not supposed to be in that area and you go into it, that's worse for you than it is now. How is it somebody always starts something and then they usually say, go on, see what happens, and they back up. All right? That's my favorite. I'll say that's my favorite commercial, that Porky Pig cartoon, and he says, all right, who's going to make this move? And they say, take one step forward. And the whole group takes one step back. And he's out there by himself. Like, what happened? This is what happens. It's the exact same thing that happens. So the fool isn't always that foolish. He said, this may not go well. What? But if I sell this to him and have him run with this, what happened? Oh, they tore me up out there. Yeah, okay. We won't try this one then. What? And that other foolish person with him will try that again. It says, he boasted of attainment in things that are of no worth. What are things that have no worth?
26s.
The 26s on your car have no worth?
I mean, it's cool, but some people put it, you know, before other things. You know, like if you ain't paid your light bill, you know, it probably wouldn't be a good idea to go get some 26.
26s would not be a priority if you had not paid your light bill. I went on vacation to Virginia Beach. They had a place in there where you could rent a $10,000 gold chain. You could rent rims for the weekend. You could rent anything. You could rent a cell phone if you did not have one. All right? Think about that. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. All right? You can't afford it. And think about what the liability is. Somebody wants them 26s more than you do, and they take them. They take them at gunpoint. Right? Now think about if you rented them. Now you know when you go to a rental place, you rent some 26s. Let's say they cost $5,000. They got you with a contract that said you're going to pay them back $12,000, right? It's got to be something ridiculous. You're going to be paying on $12,000 until, no telling. That's your kid's college fund just went out the window. If somebody steal one of them rims off that car, right? I couldn't even believe it. I walked up and said, what? You could rent them, put them on your ride. No, I don't think so. So those things have no worth. The only thing that has worth is being one with Allah and working on your character. Everything else is worthless. Those things are going to pass away. It says those things are but reflections. And as the ethers change, so do those things. If you see them through these eyes, I want to reevaluate. It might not be correct. Some of those things are of no worth. All right, we dealt with that in Friday Holy Service, right? Even in the path of wisdom, he toileth after folly. What? In the path of wisdom, he toileth after folly. So the path is laid out for you. We got the plumb line. It's straight ahead. We know which way we're going. Here we go. Oh, it's shiny over there. It's gone.
Distraction.
So a distraction just took you away that fast. You're gone. Right? So we can't stay. That's the problem with meditation, prayer, and those other things. Can't stay focused. Islam.
You're going to open up where it is a shame to be ignorant. You have no understanding.
Yep. So where he's ashamed to be, he should be ashamed to be ignorant, but have no understanding. Even in the path of wisdom, he toileth after folly. Toilet is a word that means work. So you work to mess up. That's what toilet means. He said, man must spin and toil. To toil after something means to put in work. You got to be putting in work. He's putting in work on folly, on the wrong thing. And shame and disappointment are the reward of his labor. Shame and disappointment. So shame is how other people look at you, or how you're supposed to feel inside. Disappointment. That's your reward for your labor of toiling after folly. Those pebbles.
What was Islam? What was folly again?
Folly is like foolishness. You can get another definition. Folly is a mess up.
Islam. Folly is a mental weakness, unwise conduct. Probably in its sense of extravagance.
I like the imbecility of mind.
Right.
Absolutely.
So chasing after a folly means you're mentally in a disabled state and you're trying to acquire more of that. So everything that we deal with in this book, that's why we deal with the workshop of the mind. So our insufficiencies are in the mind. So that should let you know what we're trying to revert to and get ourselves back into. What are we trying to do? Well, what are we trying to do? How are we trying to build perfected man? Trying to get into a different state. A state of what?
Mind.
State of mind. State of mind. To steal your mind. Why? Because what puts this vessel in action? There's only one thing that puts this vessel in action. That's this mind. That's what puts this vessel in action. We wasn't to the level Allah. So man was a thought of Allah. There it was. Our thought puts this vessel in action. And it has to be a thought that keeps this vessel from moving as well. Because usually your first action, okay, I'm about to, no, there might not be. We have to process that, and reason it, and decide, do we, with our motor skills, put this vessel and is it going in the right direction for the right reason? If it may not, we may need to put that on hold. Right? Usually when I take a decision or when I process something, some information comes in, I take it, I set it, I think about it, I read it all the way through, I set it, give it a day or so. I give you 3 or 4 days. Why? Because my decision may be the information that you gave to me, maybe you didn't give it to me quite on the up and up. And it's going to make me make a reaction. It's going to react incorrectly. But when I get the information and process the data and figure out is it something we really need to act on, then now I can act on that and put the vessel in motion. If it need to be in motion. That might be something that may take care of itself. So now when I assert force on something, and maybe it didn't need to be taken care of at that moment, now I'm putting fiction in motion. So now I just threw a pebble out there. Instead of thinking about it, say that, yeah, that doesn't even sound right. That doesn't sound right. But the wise man cultivates his mind with knowledge. What is cultivate? So cultivate is like grow, right?
Massaging.
So yeah, so we sprinkle it, give it a little seasoning, we put some things with it, and mind, body, and spirit. We eat right, we jog, we exercise, we say good things. We Islam people that we come up on. I command you to be at peace. We do those things, that cultivates our mind. Why? Because then it becomes part of your nature as you do it so long. Then we don't know anything better. We don't know anything worse. We don't know, we don't get into those areas. Why? Because we cultivated our mind to say we don't want to go in those areas. Right? Then you get growth. Why? Because and after so long, are you doing it this way? That way doesn't really appeal to you. We put aside those childish ways of those things. Now we're childlike with the new understanding. Prophet brought us up. He said, this will save you. This is the prescription to get you right. Got you the books, sealed them up, made you a nation, gave you your nationality. You didn't have a nationality. That's why you was running around crazy. Honored not the principles of our mothers and our fathers. We strayed after all these other gods. Man's ideal is his God. Now we all over the place. But this is the instruction on unity. We're supposed to be studying ourselves. Not being selfish. Selfless. Now you study yourself, get yourself right. Now I can look to him and say, he's almost on the path. Put him on the path. Put her on the path. Put the youngsters on the path. So they know where they're going. The prophet gave them a roadmap. He said, get on this road, stay on this road. Keep me out front. They know me. They know you're a prophet. They know him by his works. They were jealous of his fame and his nobility. Then they try to take charge of his situation, which was designed to save you. They wanted your prophet situation. You have a prophet. You ever read his prophecies? Better read up and be studied on this stuff. Make sure your sword is sharp. Study up on this stuff. They're going to challenge you on it. You better be able to answer it. There's no Negro, black people, colored people, or Ethiopians. Those names was given to the slaves by the slaveholders. In 1779, it lasted till 1865 during a time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now. And all men now must proclaim their nationality. Unify your mind. Let's get it right. But the wise man cultivates his mind with knowledge, and the improvement of the arts is his delight, and their unity to the public crowneth with honor. So there's your public utility. There's your public utility. It isn't Edison. It isn't Columbia Gas. That's you going out there to help them to sustain themselves, sustain your community. You need to be doing these drives, clothing drive, food and drive. We did the water drive during the season. We always worry about how did it look. Did it come out big? What did the numbers say? What did it? Just do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Get the reward. Don't worry about that other stuff. Just do the work. Be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. By where Allah placed you to be at. You in this room because Allah brought you and put you in this room at this moment, at this time. In Ohio, the heart of it all. Right? Got the Great Lakes around you. This was the water vibrates. It sends those vibrations all around the world. You home. I love that commercial, This Is Home. I dance every time I come on. This is home. You right it is. This is home. All right? We home. We got to keep trying to tell you millions of miles away from your home. No, this is home. This is home. That's your mind telling you somewhere else. How you somewhere else to where Allah created and put you at? If you somewhere else where Allah created and put you at, somebody told you something and you ran with it. That's your folly. That's your pebble. If somebody told you something else, you said, what, really? And you ain't supposed to be here. Where am I supposed to be? Over there. Oh, took off, gone. But you don't know you ain't supposed to be over there either. Nevertheless, the attainment of the virtue, he accounted as the highest learning. Attainment of the virtues, or the mother of the virtues. So, those virtues are the things of high regard. Like love, happiness, all those things. High virtues. So we have the Father of the universe. You seek to make the mother of the virtues. Put those together, that's your father and your mother. Well, they honor not the principles of their mothers and their fathers. That means it on a couple of different levels. All right? So we honor, supposed to honor mother and their fathers that thy days may be long, said in the Bible. So honor thy mother and thy fathers that thy days may be lengthened upon the earthland that thy father God Allah hath granted. That's what it says. That's the same thing. We have to honor thy mother and thy father. Don't they call the earth Mother Earth? Mm-hmm. Well, why are you tearing it up? You wouldn't hit, assault, abuse your mother, or you shouldn't. You shouldn't. So how you expect that that's going to bring nurturing to you? How you expect it's going to help you in your time of need? See, a mother's love is different than anything else you've ever experienced. A mother will go to the fire for her daughter, willingly, without much pushing. My child's in need, here I come. There's your mom right there. That's the way we have to treat this earth. The science of happiness is the study of his life. We have to study our lives and get some growth there. Are we working on ourselves? Are we just playing with ourselves? Just playing with the information. Can't play with this information. This will tear you up. You gotta have growth. Focus on what you need. So then when the time comes, a teacher will appear. Someone will teach you when you're on the right path. You notice how people seem to come to you now that have the same thinking that you do, same understanding. Right? We draw those people in. The negative ones pushes them outside of the circle. They're not inside the circle of righteousness that we have here. Right? That's your character. Keep everything in the bounds of righteousness. So this is the reason why you went to science class before. They have centripetal force and centrifugal force. Anybody know what those are? Centripetal and centrifugal force? You ever heard those words before? I heard it in 5th grade. Those are the things about a washing machine. As the washing machine spins, one force takes the water over the clothes and outside and runs it down the drain. The other force spins the water the other way and the water stays inside, takes it down the other drain. So that's centrifugal and centripetal force. That's what happens with your life. People that are negative, centrifugal force takes them down through the middle. Centripetal force, the other one, will takes it outside the circle. But that's not that they don't like you anymore, don't love you. The energy can't match yours and pushes them out of the cipher. So some of you have seen the cipher where they rap in the cipher and they get in there and flow. You see them in New York or something, so he blows the dude out. You say, whoa, so he couldn't stay in there. That's what this is actually, this is what that deals with. Centrifugal and centripetal force. That's what the washing machine is based on. But that's why when that ringer runs around there and it runs the water off before you get ready to put it in the dryer, and then you feel it, you're like, oh, wow. And it pushes them to the wall. It holds it. Okay? For you that have been around long enough, they had a device at Cedar Point called the rotor room.
No, it's not the witch's wheel.
The witch's wheel too. The rotor room, no. Put your feet against the wall, it spun real fast, and then the floor dropped out, and you stuck on the wall. Okay? That's what that is. That's what deals with that character. Anybody got any questions on that? Science, it has to be a part of our life. We're more scientists. Everything has a science to it, a flow, an energy. All living things are bound by cords. So we can't destroy Mother Earth or the creatures or the things that Allah has presented with, that He has given to us. Why? Because they're bound to us. They say when the earth is no more, we're no more. We don't have any clean water, we got a problem. So we have all these people that can think, but we have to think in a matter of how we're going to clean this water up. How are we going to clean these Great Lakes up? The first way is to start to save ourselves is for us to stop tearing it up. Stop dumping it. That's a whole other lesson. We're not even going to go there. But our mind has to say, we got to stop with that. Anybody got any questions on any of that? That's a lot of information. We went through a whole lot. Went through a whole lot. You know? Make sure you are in your own spare time. Read your Holy Quran as an MSTA. Study your divine constitution and bylaws. There's a lot of information in this. Your 101s. Study everything the prophet has brought you. And your life will be better, I promise you. If it doesn't make your life better, bring it back, we'll give you a full refund.
He's serious.
It'll be right for you. At that moment that you need it, it'll be right for you. Take these books out, do your thing. Anybody got any announcements? We got about 7 minutes to go. Anybody got any announcements? Anything? I got one. Islam. The Sister Tamika Grayel, she has her committee together. We're getting ready to get everything situated for the March ball. It's going to be January 6th. Venue's taken care of. Other things pertinent to that are getting taken care of. She has a committee. Get with her in regards to that. We're gonna do it big. We're gonna have a good time. Islam.
Anybody, they're gonna probably order some things, they got some ideas, I might have to run it to which you, in ordering the stuff you may need. So,
Islam. So we're gonna get with Brother Chris. We'll get some things, have you looking right.
with the Hollaback Committee.
We're gonna take care of that. Then coming up right on that, January 8th, we will celebrate the Prophet's birthday. Islam. So you know how we do it. The Prophet said that we was gonna celebrate his birthday like Christmas. I tell you what, we had so much food in this room. We was giving stuff away by the trays when we got done. So we're gonna celebrate the Prophet's birthday. Why? Because he brought us everything we needed to save ourselves. We're gonna celebrate that. Got anything else with that?
Islam, I have an announcement a little bit before that. I've been labeled as one of the unsung in Toledo, meaning that somebody somewhere decided to recognize me for things that I do simply because I do them. There's tickets available. Anybody that can come, it's next Saturday from 4 to 7 at the Frederick Douglass Center. So if you're interested, let me know. I will be in full Moorish attire.
Islam. That's one of the things. So we need to start getting in. I'm trying to move a little faster, getting these calendar events together, so we don't have a breakdown on stuff. If we can get these things together and get these calendar events ready, posted, work with a couple of people, get our events logged out. A lot of times we don't get enough people there because we haven't put that information out fast enough. We want to get that information out fast enough so we can move along with it. All right. So that way we're better prepared. We know what's coming up. We'll know what's on us. Make a move with that. Anybody got anything else? Any other questions? You guys think about the information. Work on that stuff. Work on that stuff. I don't give it to you just to speak. I give it to you for you to get you some growth and get me some growth. I grow being with y'all too. That's how it works. Had an excellent Friday Holy Day service. Friday Holy Day is at 4:30 sharp. We're usually there an hour. If you need a provision to get away from your job or something else, get with us. We'll get you situated. Should be in there for an hour. Get in, get the lesson, and we go about back out in the world and take that information back out there. It was a great session. This was a good session as well. Islam?
Islam. What do you say? Take them first from the east to the west and bring it back.
I'll read you this last little bit of lesson. We've got 2 seconds, we're out. This is in the Moorish literature. Islam. 2 minutes. Following our leaders. Thousands of Moorish Americans will follow their leaders, regardless of the propaganda put forth by those who have designs to hinder them in the work for the advancements of their people. We will not stop to question their requisites, qualifications, or anything else, so long as our leaders who have investigated and passed on the course of action which we feel is enough endorsement for us to act. We have long known that the first attempt to crush the leaders of any movement or organization is to plant dissension among their followers. Such will never be the case with the Moorish Americans. But when we have chosen our leaders, that within itself tells the world that we are going to follow them. All the knocks and slams that come from anyone against our leaders will be ignored by us. Where they lead us, we will follow. That's from our prophet, Noble Drew Ali. So at this time, we have the public offering donation. We handle that. Take that, we get a count, and we have 2 minutes. You gotta take that mic, you gotta give us, what we'll do that right away. We'll see, give a count when we close out. Sorry, this. All right, we all set. Islam. So all right, we're gonna face the east. Morris American closing prayer. Go ahead, Christian, just lead us with that prayer.
It's the
It's
same.
the same one you start with.
Okay.
Allah.
Allah,
Father of the universe,
Father
Father
of love,
of love,
truth,
truth,
peace,
peace, freedom,
and justice.
and justice.
Allah is my protector,
Allah is my protector,
my
my
God,
God,
and my salvation.
and my salvation,
By night,
by night
and by day.
and by day.
Through his holy prophet,
Through his holy prophet,
You're all in.
amen. Stay on there, we'll finish up the last one. Allah bind our hearts and minds, back our ancient forefathers' divine creed and principles. This we ask in thy holy name and the 70 Elohim. Amen.
Amen.
Islam, Morris.
Islam.